Welcome back to the Paranormal State, Washington, and UFO UAP. With Makāula Nakae, a lifelong experiencer and ET contactee since 1990. Today's episode, Italy and UFOs and the Paranormal. The Italian Air Force and official military tracking. If France approaches UFOs with institutional state science, England maintains a cozy, fireside obsession with historic ghost stories, and Spain leans into passionate, primetime mystery media. Italy approaches high strangeness with a unique fusion of military precision, deep historical roots, and an inherent cultural fascination with the mysterious and the miraculous. Across the Italian peninsula, the footprint of the unexplained is formally anchored by the state's defense apparatus, proving that official military tracking of UAPs is not exclusive to the United States or France. Italy's formal integration of UFO tracking into its national defense infrastructure was born out of sheer necessity during one of the most intense aerial flaps in European history. Throughout 1978, the skies above Italy, stretching from the industrial north down to Sicily, were flooded with thousands of reports of luminous orbs, cigar-shaped craft, and erratic lights that frequently played cat and mouse with commercial airliners and radar installations. The wave caused widespread public alarm and national security anxiety, drawing the direct attention of high-level government officials, most notably then Prime Minister Giulio Andreotti. Recognizing that unauthorized craft were routinely penetrating Italian airspace without a centralized tracking mechanism, the government took decisive action. Following the 1978 crisis, the Italian government officially designated the Italian Air Force Aeronautica Militare as the official state body responsible for tracking, verifying, and investigating unidentified aerial phenomena. Unlike countries where military involvement is ad hoc or heavily secretive, the Italian Air Force operates under a formal, legally mandated protocol. Air traffic control centers, radar stations, and military police, carabinieri, are structurally required to route civilian and pilot sighting reports directly to the Air Force's security and operations departments. When a report is filed, military specialists analyze flight plans, meteorological data, and radar returns to filter out conventional aircraft, weather anomalies, and space debris. Much like France's GIPN, the Italian military maintains an official public archive of unresolved cases, balancing national security with public transparency. The Aeronautica Militare regularly publishes updates and summaries of its investigated UAP cases on official government portals, providing citizens and independent researchers with access to historical data. While the vast majority of reports are successfully identified as weather balloons, satellites, military exercises, or optical illusions, a small percentage of cases involving military pilots and corroborated radar tracks remain officially unexplained, cementing Italy's position as one of the few nations with a transparent, long-standing military UAP tracking office. While modern Italy integrates UAP tracking directly into its military framework, the nation's relationship with high strangeness extends far deeper into history. It stretches from classical antiquity, where Roman chroniclers recorded flying weapons over the empire, into the dark corridors of 20th century geopolitical conspiracy lore. Italy's skywatching history predates modern aviation by 2 millennia. The ancient Romans were meticulous record keepers, who viewed unexpected atmospheric anomalies as profound omens prodigia. In his compilation Liber de Prodigiis, Book of Prodigiis, the Roman historian Julius Obsequens meticulously detailed strange aerial phenomena observed across Italy. Centuries before Christ, Roman citizens and magistrates reported seeing shields of fire clippy ardens, multiple suns, and luminous globes crossing the skies over Rome, Tarquinia, and Campania. While modern ufologists view these ancient texts as early historical footprints of unidentified aerospace craft, Roman authorities interpreted them as divine warnings from the gods, proving that humanity has looked up at structured anomalies with awe and anxiety for thousands of years. Perhaps the most famous and fiercely debated pre-Roswell crash retrieval myth in global alternative history belongs to Italy, predating the 1947 American lore by over a decade. The 1933 Milan crash. According to historical researchers and authors such as Roberto Pinati, a mysterious cigar-shaped or bell-like craft allegedly crashed near Magenta, close to Milan on June 13, 1933. The incident was supposedly suppressed by fascist authorities under strict orders. Cabinet RS-33 and Guglielmo Marconi. The legend claims that dictator Benito Mussolini established a clandestine, highly secret research cabinet known as Cabinet RS-33, Special Research-33, to study the wreckage. To lead this top-secret scientific task force, the regime allegedly appointed Guglielmo Marconi, the Nobel Prize-winning inventor of radio and wireless telegraphy. While mainstream historians treat the fascist UFO narrative as a modern urban legend or clever disinformation, the story remains a foundational pillar of European alternative ufology. It paints 1930s Italy as the accidental birthplace of state-sponsored river engineering, long before the American military ever encountered saucer wreckage in New Mexico. Continuing the journey across Italy's extraordinary landscape of high strangeness, the peninsula's history moves from classical omens and fascist-era crash legends into some of the most bizarre and thoroughly witnessed close encounters of the 20th century. The 1954 Florence Stadium incident, UFOs at a football match. One of the most famous, heavily documented mass-spectator sightings in global ufological history occurred on October 27, 1954, right in the middle of a packed Italian sporting event. Over 10,000 passionate fans, along with the players and referees, were watching a reserve football match between Fiorentina and Prodigiis at the Stadio Artemio Franchi in Florence. Suddenly, the crowd fell silent as play ground to a halt. Thousands of eyes turned upward to the sky. Witnesses described seeing a fleet of egg-shaped objects and gleaming cigar-shaped craft gliding slowly and soundlessly over the stadium. As the objects hovered, they left behind a strange, glistening, cotton-like substance known traditionally as angel hair. Spectators and journalists on the scene reported that this fibrous material floated down onto the terraces and the pitch, but mysteriously evaporated or dissolved into a gelatinous mush shortly after touching the ground or being handled. Although skeptics later proposed migrations of gossamer spinning spiders riding thermal air currents, the Florence Stadium incident remains an iconic snapshot of a major population witnessing the unknown in broad daylight. The Zanfretta Incident, 1978, abductions in the Genoese Alps. While the Florence sighting played out publicly before thousands, Italy's most infamous close encounter case played out in terrifying, highly personal isolation high in the northern mountains. On the night of December 6, 1978, a 26-year-old night watchman named Pier Fortunato Zanfretta was patrolling an isolated villa in Turiglia, near Genoa, in the rugged Apennine Mountains. He reported encountering a glowing triangular object and several massive, hideous entities with glowing red eyes. What followed was not a one-off sighting, but a terrifying multi-year series of alleged abductions and encounters. Zanfretta claimed he was repeatedly taken aboard craft, subjected to medical examinations, and interrogated. The case exploded into national headlines because investigators, police officers, and local officials documented severe physical evidence. Unexplained burns on Zanfretta's body, sudden rises in local ambient temperature during encounters, and severe psychological trauma, verified by medical professionals. The Zanfretta case divided Italy. While mainstream media treated it with sensationalized tabloid hysteria, thousands of believers viewed it as one of Europe's most harrowing documentation files of close encounters of the fourth kind, cementing the Genoese Alps as a permanent hotspot for high strangeness. To truly understand Italy's unique relationship with high strangeness, one must explore where its modern ufology intersects with its ancient, profound Catholic heritage. In Italy, the cultural boundary between the sacred and the paranormal is remarkably fluid, a place where divine miracles, stigmata, and unexplained aerial phenomena occupy the exact same historical and psychological space. Because the Vatican has operated as a continuous global institution for nearly 2 millennia, it has accumulated centuries of meticulous, highly detailed archives concerning the unexplainable. The Vatican employs rigorous canonical processes, historically involving the promoter fidei, or devil's advocate, to investigate reported miracles. Levitating saints, such as Saint Joseph of Cupertino, famously reported to have floated during prayer, stigmata, and incorruptible bodies. Every claim requires physical evidence, witness testimony, and medical verification. Because of this long-standing institutional focus on the anomalous, contemporary ufologists and researchers, including scientists like Stanford immunologist Dr. Gary Nolan and members of the Soul Foundation, have frequently looked to the Vatican as a potential historical repository of anomalous documentation, wondering what else sits quietly cataloged within its classified vaults. While Italy's intellectual and academic circles maintain a traditional facade of polite skepticism, Italian popular culture embraces the uncanny with open theatrical arms. Popular Italian television networks frequently broadcast primetime investigative specials, exploring ghosts, poltergeists, and ancient mysteries, treating the unknown not as a joke, but as a compelling human story. Across the peninsula, regional folklore thrives. From the ghostly whispers haunting Venice's ancient palazzos and Renaissance villas to mountain legends nestled in the Apennines and the Alps, the unexplained is deeply woven into local identity. Italians grow up comfortable with the idea that the physical world is thin and that the miraculous is never entirely out of reach. In Italy, UFOs and the paranormal are treated with a fascinating blend of bureaucratic seriousness and rich cultural storytelling. Supported by an official Air Force reporting structure, a historical footprint stretching back to ancient Rome, and a society deeply accustomed to the miraculous, the unexplained is not an alien intruder. It is an organic, time-honored thread woven directly into the Italian landscape. To be continued. Watch and listen. Watch the cinematic video trailer. Listen to the full podcast now. Explore the archive Cosmic Awakening Volume 1, 1991, Peru, Journey into the Unknown. Sacred Valley of the Incas. Volume 2, Ascension 2012, The Golden Alchemy. Part 3, The First Contact, The Paranormal State. Join the journey. New episodes drop periodically. Each chapter delivers a tight, hyper-focused 10 to 30-minute hit of real-life experiences, perfect for your daily plunge into consciousness exploration. Subscribe to support your inner development. Thumbs up to help push our channel through the algorithm. Comment below. Share your thoughts on today's episode.